There's something special about getting lost in a massive open world, climbing towering mountains, uncovering hidden secrets, taking on epic quests, and exploring landscapes that seem to stretch on forever. The best part? You don't have to spend a fortune to experience these incredible adventures. If you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you already have access to some of the biggest and most immersive open-world games available today. From sprawling fantasy kingdoms and post-apocalyptic wastelands to vibrant cities and breathtaking historical settings, there's an adventure here for every type of player. In this video, we're counting down the biggest open-world games you can play on PlayStation Plus right now, ranked by the scale of their worlds, the freedom they offer, and just how much there is to discover. So grab your controller and let's dive into these incredible worlds. Death Stranding is the game that divides people the second you describe it, and that's exactly why you need to try it yourself. You play Sam Porter Bridges, a delivery man rebuilding a shattered America by literally walking supplies across mountains, rivers, and terrain that fights you every step of the way, all while invisible creatures called BTs hunt anything that gets too close. It sounds tedious on paper, but the way it turns hiking and logistics into something tense and even meditative is unlike anything else in gaming. With the sequel, On the Beach, expanding the story to Mexico and Australia, now's the time to see how Sam's journey began. Hideo Kojima built something genuinely strange here, and PS Plus makes it a low-risk way to find out if it's for you. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 doubles down on everything that made the first two games great and then somehow makes swinging through New York feel even better. This time, you're playing both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, switching between them as the story splits its focus, while Venom looms over the whole city as one of the best villains Insomniac has ever written. The symbiote suit gives Peter a darker, more aggressive combat style, while Miles brings his bioelectric powers into massive boss fights that genuinely feel like something out of the comics. Traversal got a huge upgrade too, with wingsuit gliding letting you cover the city faster than ever. It's a shorter open world than most on this list, but every hour is packed with spectacle. This is a must-play for any PS5 owner. Star Wars Outlaws is Ubisoft's first real attempt at a full open-world Star Wars game, and it leans hard into the scoundrel fantasy instead of the Jedi one. You play Kay Vess, a low-level thief trying to pull off one last score to escape the criminal underworld, with a companion creature named Nyx who steals just about every scene he's in. You'll hop between multiple planets, each with its own open area to explore, join rival syndicates, and make choices about who you double-cross along the way. The blaster combat and stealth systems borrow from Ubisoft's greatest hits, but the galaxy itself, the cantinas, the speeder chases, the underworld politics, is what makes this worth the trip. If you wanted a Star Wars game about criminals instead of chosen ones, this finally exists. Hogwarts Legacy finally did what fans wanted for over 20 years, let you actually live inside Hogwarts. Set in the 1800s, decades before Harry Potter was even born, you play a student with a rare, dangerous magical ability, uncovering a hidden goblin rebellion while attending classes, brewing potions, and flying a broomstick across the Scottish Highlands. The castle itself is staggering, moving staircases, secret rooms, house common rooms you can explore floor by floor. Combat lets you chain together spells like a magical gunslinger, and the open world outside the castle is packed with beasts to tame and vaults to raid. With a sequel already confirmed to be in development, now's the perfect time to catch up before it drops. This is comfort food gaming at its best. Assassin's Creed Valhalla hands you an axe, a longship, and one of the biggest maps Ubisoft has ever built. You play Eivor, a Viking raider leading your clan out of Norway to carve out a new home in England during real historical power struggles. This is a full RPG now, skill trees, gear stats, and settlement building where you grow your own village from the ground up. You'll raid monasteries for loot, strike alliances with real historical figures, and even sneak in an Assassin's Creed Origin-style hidden blade storyline underneath all the Viking chaos. With the Ragnarok-era Dawn of Ragnarok expansion included, there's easily over 100 hours here. If you love loot, leveling up, and slow burn open worlds, Valhalla will swallow your week.
Ghost of Tsushima is basically what would happen if a samurai movie became playable. You're Jin Sakai, the last surviving samurai on Tsushima Island during the Mongol invasion of Japan, and you're forced to abandon the code of honor to save your home. The combat is brutal and cinematic, one-on-one standoffs where a single strike ends the fight. But it's the world that steals the show, with fields of pampas grass, fox dens, and hot springs that guide you across the island instead of a cluttered map. It's become such a phenomenon that Sucker Punch already released a full sequel, Ghost of Yote, and a live-action film is in the works. If you want a shorter, tighter open world without sacrificing scale, this is it.
Even with GTA 6 finally out, Los Santos still has a hold on players more than a decade later. Grand Theft Auto 5 follows three very different criminals, a retired bank robber, a street hustler, and an unhinged psychopath, and lets you switch between them mid-mission for some of the wildest heist sequences ever designed. The city is a satirical mirror of Los Angeles, packed with side content, from street races to golf to just causing chaos with a jet fighter. And that's before you even touch GTA Online, which is still pulling in millions of players every week. It's proof that a great open world never really goes out of style. This one belongs on every PS Plus must-play list. No contest.
Forget what you heard about this game back in 2020. Cyberpunk 2077 today is a completely different beast. Night City is one of the most alive cities ever built in a game. Neon-soaked mega towers, gang turf wars, and a story about chasing immortality that hits harder than most sci-fi movies. You play V, a mercenary with a dead legend's digital ghost living in your head, voiced in your ear by Keanu Reeves' Johnny Silverhand. With years of patches and the Phantom Liberty expansion, this is now considered one of the best RPGs of the generation, packed with cyberware builds, car chases, and choices that actually change the ending. If you wrote this game off years ago, PS Plus is your excuse to give it a second chance.
Saddle up, because this is still the gold standard of open-world games. Red Dead Redemption 2 drops you into 1899 as Arthur Morgan, an outlaw riding with the Vanderlinde gang as the Wild West dies around them. Every town, every stranger, every random encounter feels handcrafted. You can hunt legendary animals, rob trains, play poker in a saloon, or just stop your horse on a cliff and watch the sun come up, and the game wants you to. Rockstar built a world so dense that players are still finding secrets years later. It's a slow burn at first, but stick with it, because Arthur's story is one of the most emotional in gaming history. If you only play one game off this list, PS Plus Extra subscribers, make it this one.
The Witcher 3 is still, over a decade later, one of the best written open worlds ever made. And if you've never played it, PS Plus just handed you no excuse. You're Geralt of Rivia, a monster-hunting mercenary searching for his adopted daughter Ciri, while a spectral army called the Wild Hunt tears through the world looking for her too. What makes this open world different is that almost every side quest, even the tiny ones about a farmer's missing goat, turns into something morally messy with real consequences. The two expansions alone, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, are considered better than most full-price games on their own. Between monster contracts, card games, and a story that doesn't pull punches, this is the kind of world people still replay every single year. If you only trust one best RPG of all time claim, trust this one. Days Gone puts you in the boots of Deacon St. John, a former outlaw biker surviving 2 years after a pandemic turned most of Oregon into ravenous infected hordes called freakers. What sets this apart from other zombie games is scale. These freaker hordes aren't a handful of enemies, they're hundreds of them moving as one, and taking one down is a genuine tactical nightmare involving traps, fire, and a whole lot of running. Your bike isn't just transportation either, it's your lifeline, and keeping it fueled and repaired becomes its own survival loop across the open Pacific Northwest wilderness. The story is more personal than most post-apocalyptic games too, built around loss and loyalty rather than just scavenging. It's a hidden gem that deserves way more credit than it got at launch, and now it's sitting right there on PS Plus. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth takes the beloved Yakuza series and finally lets it breathe outside Japan, sending hero Ichiban Kasuga to Hawaii while the story bounces back to the familiar streets of Yokohama too. This is a full turn-based RPG now, but don't let that fool you into thinking it's slow. Battles are stylish, over-the-top, and full of personality, with party members pulling off ridiculous signature moves straight out of an anime. Between the main story, which deals with real emotional weight around family and identity, you can sink dozens of hours into side content alone, running a business, playing arcade games, dating sims, karaoke, you name it. Few open worlds pack this much pure charm into every square foot. If you've never tried a Like a Dragon game, this is a genuinely great place to start.
Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered takes one of PlayStation's best original franchises and sharpens it for current hardware. And if you skipped it back on PS4, this is the version to play. You're Aloy, an outcast hunter in a world where humanity has reverted to tribal societies, while massive robotic creatures roam the land, from small scavenger machines to towering mechanical dinosaurs that can level a village. The story slowly unravels what actually happened to the old world, and it's one of the smartest sci-fi mysteries in gaming. Combat rewards planning. Use the terrain, set traps, and target specific machine parts, so nothing feels like a button-mashing slog. With better textures, faster load times, and improved character models, this remaster makes the Forbidden West sequel story finally make sense. It's a genuine classic. Far Cry 6 throws you into Yara, a fictional Caribbean nation modeled after Cuba, under the grip of a dictator named Anton Castillo, played chillingly by Giancarlo Esposito. You're Danny Rojas, a reluctant revolutionary pulled into a guerrilla war against the regime, and the game gives you an absurd arsenal to fight with, from homemade rocket launchers to a literal backpack alligator companion. The world is split into distinct regions, each with its own resistance movement, guerrilla camps to liberate, and vehicles ranging from horses to tanks to a wingsuit for gliding off cliffs. It's Ubisoft's open-world chaos formula turned up to 11, and Esposito's performance alone makes the story worth following. If you want revolution, explosions, and Caribbean scenery, Yara delivers all 30. Fallout 4 drops you into post-nuclear Boston as the sole survivor, waking up after 200 years frozen to find your world reduced to radioactive wasteland. It's Bethesda's open-world formula at its most addictive. Build settlements from scrap, craft and modify guns down to every last part, and stumble into stories in basically every ruined building you walk into. The Commonwealth is stuffed with factions fighting for control, from the tech-obsessed Brotherhood of Steel to the synthetic institute hiding underground, and your choices decide who wins. With the hit Fallout TV show pulling in a whole new wave of fans, the games have seen a massive resurgence, and this remains the most accessible entry point. If post-apocalyptic exploration is your thing, this world will eat your weekend.